Hey gang, in this video we're going to go over what you should expect on a Project Plus certification exam. Let's not waste any time, let's get straight into it. So we're going to get straight into it. So this is going to be a test prep lecture. So we're going to go over what's the passing score, what's the price of the exam, and what to actually expect on the exam. So I know you got a lot to do today. You probably got a busy day, and if you don't, I still don't want to waste any of your time, so let's get straight into it. So first thing, Project Plus. You have to get a 710 out of 900 to pass the exam. So on this exam, you're going to have multiple choice and multiple answers. A lot of the other CompT exams have simulations or performance-based questions. On the Project Plus, as of this recording, doesn't have any performance-based questions, so you just have to have multiple choice and multiple answers. So you'll get a maximum of 95 questions. You'll probably get less. You'll probably get 90 or less questions. You got 90 minutes to complete the test, and the price of the test is $319. So who is this actually for? I believe that this is for people that are working on maybe smaller or less complex projects. Project management, if you're going to be in IT for any amount of time, you're going to be a project manager at some time. It may be something super small. It may just be uploading or upgrading images on 50 laptops or something like that. It may be a small project, but you're going to be in charge of something that, you know, the outcome and the result is on you. So I would say that the PMP probably is the quintessential project management certification, but this is definitely a good precursor to the PMP certification. Look good on your resume coupled with your IT certifications. Okay, so we went over pass and score, types of questions, all that stuff. So the rest of the questions are going to be some questions that I made up to actually get you acclimated to the question types that's going to actually be seen on the exam, and hopefully this can help you to knock out the certification. Okay, so these are the areas that's going to be covered on the actual exam. So you got project basics, you got project constraints, you got communication and change management, and you got project tools and documentation. So 36%, 17%, 26%, 21%. So these are the domain areas. Then there's objectives inside of each one of these domain areas. If you add all that up, that's going to add up to 100%. All right. So these are the areas that you need to focus on to be successful on the Project Plus. Another thing, with the certification costs, if you fail this shit, no refunds. All right. No discounts or nothing. So just make sure that before you take the exam that you're fully prepared. All right, super prepared, so you don't have to take a L and end up having to pay for the test again. All right, so first thing, Jim LANCEY is currently managing a project for an international agency. Jim is trying to establish the correct sequencing and length of project activities. Which of the following would be the most beneficial? So if this is your first time taking a CompT exam or first time taking a certification exam, be very critical and analytical when you're looking at things, and just make sure that you're pulling out all of the information that you need to pull out. So what do you need to pull out of this? He's trying to figure out how the correct sequencing and the length of project activities. So what's the order things should be completed in, and how long should it take to complete each one of those things? And at last but not least, most beneficial. When you're taking a test, make sure that you pay attention to that. Most beneficial, least beneficial, what should you do first, what should you do last, what has been completed, what has not been completed, what's the next step. Make sure you pay attention to those things, all right? So you've had enough time to deliberate this question, so what do you think the answer is? Hopefully you said network diagram. When it comes to project management, a network diagram is going to show you the sequencing and the steps and how long it should take to complete each task. Okay, network diagram. Next up, you are a new project manager. Today you are creating the WBS. And which of the following phases is the project? Another thing that I always tell my students, acronyms, right? Acronyms will whoop your ass on this test. All right, so just make sure that And whenever you see an acronym, that you look up what the acronym stands for and see what the acronym does, see what it relates to, because a lot of times the acronym will give you the answer or at least steer you in the right direction. But if you have no idea what acronym stands for, you're going to have a hard time inside of the box. All right, so what phase are we in? All they're doing is creating the WBS. What phase are we in? Easy. Planning. Are we planning, trying to figure out everything that needs to be done? Then we move on to the next step. All right, which of the following documents would determine the contractual obligations? All right, which one of these would define or determine what somebody is contractually obligated to do? All right, and once again, answers are in acronyms. If you don't know what those acronyms stand for, it may be a little rough for you. Perfect. Hopefully you said SLA, which stands for Service Level Agreement. So a service level agreement is between two parties or several parties. It just lays out, this is the level of service that we're agreeing upon, right? So let's say if you had a contract with a automotive group and they said, hey, you got a fleet of vehicles. The level of service I'm going to give you guys is changing the oil every 3,000 miles and rotating the tires every 5,000 miles. All right. Anything above that, that ain't got nothing to do with me. Transmission go out, you run out of gas, that ain't got shit to do with me. The level of service I'm doing, oil change, tire rotations. Makes sense? So a SLA pretty much protects you and whoever the third party is, so you know what they're obligated to do and what they don't have to do. An example of some acronyms on here: AUP, acceptable use policy. That would pretty much be something that you would give to new users on a network and say, hey, this is what's acceptable on the network, this is what's not. Then you got MOU, memorandum of understanding, that can have a multitude of uses, just pretty much laying out that you fully under whatever obligations, whatever agreement that you guys have come to. A MOU, a memorandum of understanding, pretty much says, hey, you fully understand what I'm talking about. Okay. LOI is just something I came up with. If that stands for something, let me know, but that's just something I just typed up. All right, next up, what type of organization would comprise of authority being shared between functional and project managers? So you have functional managers and project managers. What type of organization would have it where both of them share responsibility? Great. So paying homage to the matrix, you got the red pill, blue pill. If you didn't correlate that, but it's the matrix. So in the matrix organization, or a organization that goes off of that type of structure, is shared between the functional managers and the project managers. Okay. All right. TRAYVON is currently creating a WBS. Of the following team members, who would be responsible for cost and time estimates regarding the project activities? So acronyms: WBS stands for Work Breakdown Structure. Exactly what it sounds like. Who's responsible for completing what, right? So who would be responsible for, who would ultimately be responsible for costs and time estimates regarding project activities? Now, when you guys become project managers for Google or NASA or whoever the hell that you guys want to work for, this is a super important thing, especially when it comes down to budget and money. You have to know costs and time estimates, right? Because you may say, oh, this shit only gonna take 2 hours, and end up taking 2 weeks, and that's gonna be a lot more money, a lot more man hours, and a lot more people cussing you out. Okay, so hopefully you guys got this right and said project sponsor. That is the ultimate responsibility of the project sponsor, which is actually above the project manager, pretty much the boss of all bosses. Okay, which of the following is a key aspect of the Agile project management methodology? What is a key aspect? Perfect. Daily stand-up meetings. All right, daily stand-up meetings, pretty much every day you give a status update. Each team, each section, hey, this is what I'm working on. It's the obstacles that I'm going through. This is what I think the solution should be. Timetables, so on and so forth. So every day, everybody is on track with what they're doing and what everybody else is doing and how everything is going to come together. Okay. FREEBIRD Construction's project manager requires daily status updates. What would provide these updates most effectively? Another thing is, when you get inside the box, have tunnel vision. All right, so just make sure that you're thinking about only what the question is asking and only the answers that they're giving you. Okay, don't think about anything outside. Okay, what would be most effective? Not in your mind, not at your job, not at how you do it. What would be most effective out of those options? Okay. Hopefully you said a stand-up meeting. So once again, a stand-up meeting is pretty much like a team huddle. It's probably only lasts like 15, 20 minutes, and everybody says, hey, really quick, in a couple minutes, couple seconds, this is what we got going on, this is what we plan to do. This is what I got going on, this is what I plan to do. And that just pretty much keeps everybody in the loop and keeps everybody calm, cool, and collected, and they know exactly what they need to do. Any obstacles that arise, anything really quick, have a 15 to maybe 30-minute quick little meeting. You don't want it to be any longer than that, because usually stand-up meetings happen first thing in the day, as soon as everybody get there. So you want to make sure everybody know what they're doing, and then you can go ahead and get to work. So just a stand-up meeting, like I said, is a team huddle. This is what I'm working on. This is the obstacles I have. This is how I plan to fix them. This is when I think the stuff is going to be done. So if you got 10 team members, each member should maybe have like a minute to 2 minutes, rock out what they got to say, and then keep on going. All right. Now, if things require further discussion or you got to figure out some more stuff, another meeting would be a little bit more suitable for a different meeting. Okay. Of the following activities, which are associated with the closing phase of a project? Pick more than one. Pick more than one. Out of those activities, what would be most closely related or associated with the closing phase of a project? Easy, easy, easy. If you look at those options, you should have said archive and project documents. So pretty much, what went on, issues that came up, solutions, just so you can, look back at that stuff. You have another project, and then lessons learned. So lessons learned is always good, because when you move on to another project, you can look at, okay, this is the shit that I messed up on, so I won't do that on the next one. Okay, I messed up on my budget, or I messed up on hours, or I'm not going to use this company again because all those guys will sleep, during the whole project. So just lessons learned and archiving project documents, just so you can have a database or have a collection of things that you can fall back on and look at. So when you move on to your next project, you can be better every time, right? So you learn from those lessons. Then by the time you get to your 10th, 20th, 50th project, you shouldn't have, now you can't prepare for everything, but rookie mistakes or novice mistakes, you shouldn't make those anymore, because you learn from your previous lessons. Okay. Jane and electrician for Fly High Incorporated has a problem. She notices there is not enough time to accomplish the task scheduled for the project. What's the first thing the project manager should do? Now, some project managers, they go super hard. They're stressed out, and one of the options on there is fire. They would really fire the electrician. Even it may not even be the electrician's fault. It may be that the project manager or the project sponsor didn't allot enough time for all the stuff that they wanted Jane to do. So firing an electrician, that's not the first thing that you should do. Now, if you find out that, hey, this person was asleep on the job, was taking 6-hour lunch breaks, then yeah, you should probably fire their ass. But for this, we want to do something different. What's the first thing the project manager should do? Perfect. Assess the risk register. So the risk register pretty much just says, what is the risk associated with either not doing something or doing something, all right? And what's all the things that's going to be entailed in, giving Jane more hours or giving her more materials or whatever she feels she needs to get done. So that risk register just pretty much guides you in the right direction as far as these are the risks that's going to be associated with doing it. This is a risk that's associated with not doing it, okay? All right, gang, I know it's going to make you super sad, but our time has come to an end. hopefully this project management plus test prep has helped you. If you're taking the test pretty soon, let me know down below. Drop it in the comments. If you pass Project Plus, drop it in the comments. Let me know how your project management career is going. Has it helped you? Has it hurt you? Do you think it's worth it? Another thing, I'm thinking about actually creating a Project Plus course. I'm not sure if I'm going to knock that out or not. If I do, it'll probably be out sometime early next year. So, as always, if you need a course, head over to itmasterkey.com. Tweet us, follow us on Instagram, listen to the podcast. And other than that, have a great day, and I'll see you in class.